Among the homeless community, Mark is a hero. Mark is the #1 man because Mark will fight for their rights, and they know that.
Tracy Rice Bailey is one of the thousands of homeless in Sacramento.
How many nights have you slept here?
Oh, about a week and a half, 2 weeks.
But unlike her brothers and sisters out on the streets, Tracy has the key to a house where she is welcome to come and go as she pleases.
I have a room in Mark's house. I do.
It's the home of Mark Merin, a Sacramento-based civil rights lawyer.
Here's where Tracy hangs out.
How often do you go to Mark's house?
As often as I want. A lot of times if I stay in my van, I could get up in the morning and go to the house and just walk in and get coffee.
As California's homeless population continues to increase, hitting an all-time high, Merin has opened not just his home, but his law office to the homeless, becoming a voice known to represent a group that often goes unheard.
We're really doing a lot more homeless work. In the absence of any services and shelter available for them, we're pushing constitutional rights, and that's very satisfying.
Representing lower and working class clients hits close to home for Merin.
My father got laid off from work when he was 53 and never really got a full-time job after that. And I felt the inequities of the system.
Merin has made an entire career out of what he calls standing up for those who cannot stand up for themselves.
When we first started out, we sent out notices to every community organization we could think of, saying we will provide free services to you. And we got a lot of takers from groups that otherwise wouldn't be able to afford lawyers.
Merin has represented and won cases for an array of minority organizations. One of his most notable triumphs was a $15 million class action lawsuit against Sacramento County for the illegal strip search of inmates in the county jail.
Gradually, we got to be known as more progressive or radical lawyers who would take on the state and the county and the cities and public entities and advocate for poor and disadvantaged people. And that became a niche. It sustains me as a lawyer because we do help people. We help lots of people.
While Merin's lawsuits have made their way up to the Supreme Court, over the years he has made a reputation for himself locally, suing the city and county of Sacramento around 50 times.
And if he were to designate it critical infrastructure, what is the process? Thank you for your comments.
Your time is complete.
Both Merin and the city council want homeless off the streets, but have different realities around solving the issue.
I can tell you that every time we get a lawsuit at the city, we have to defend ourselves, and that costs a lot of money. Mark Merin cost the city a lot of money, and that is money we could spend on homelessness.
Merin and city officials recently came to heads over the growing issue of homeless encampments. Merin helps lead an organization called Safe Ground, advocating for people to have safe areas to camp in, and even allowing homeless to camp in vacant lots that he owns.
There were 32 tents on this lot. We had a cook tent, a cook station, a wash station, porta potties, everything we needed.
My personal experience with safe ground type encampments is they work for a small period of time. When they become long-term and entrenched, that's when really bad behaviors happen.
The Safe Ground community, it was self-governing and it was fantastic.
Past Safe Ground communities were shut down by law enforcement due to an anti-camping ordinance.
They were all arrested and all the property was seized, and the city said no, they're not going to allow it.
But when the coronavirus pandemic set in, an order was passed that stopped police from forcing homeless encampments to move, as that is the only way they can shelter in place.
This plan was devised by an architect to be COVID compliant, which means that the tents are set so they're 6 feet apart. Each of the entranceways is pointing in a different direction so that people don't have to come into close contact with each other as they go in and out of their tent.
Safe Ground has a porta potty and wash station. Doors to the area are locked at 9 p.m. sharp, and the community agrees whether or not a new resident is permitted.
It's not a service organization. We're not a service organization. As Safe Ground Sacramento, we have advocated for the creation of these kinds of sites, and we're showing that it can be done with no support from the city. What we want to do, of course, is replicate this on many different other lots.
While Sacramento City Council and California state government has been working and allocating millions of dollars towards creating new and sustainable housing initiatives like Project Room Key.
We're not just thinking short term. We're also beginning to process an orientation of focus and energy around long-term supports.
Merin's working to create safe spaces for homeless on a local and immediate level through the involvement of Sacramento residents and advocates.
We have 5,000 people plus on the streets in Sacramento now living outdoors without shelter available. Something has to change, and we want to be the spearhead for that.
I know it's your, job and your career to help this group of people, but do you feel like it's also personal to you?
Of course it's personal. We usually allow homeless people to sleep on our property, on our porch, our front porch, our back porch.
Merin credits being raised in a working class family as part of the reason he is so passionate about these issues. That's why he uses his own home and land to provide safe ground. He believes in order to actually see change, you have to create it yourself.
As a lawyer, I've come to recognize that the courts are not the answer. We need people coming together. We need organization, and that's how things change. So I believe in community organization, and that's where I place my faith in the people, frankly.